sea, she had spent the last 4 days isolated in a dank pit in the forward depths of the ship. There she had been forced to scrap with rats and roaches for every morsel of bread that had been tossed to her. If not for her sorely depleted strength, she might have clawed her way up the stairs and raked the tar's ugly visage with ragged nails. But heavy sarcasm was the most she could muster energy for. "And what other poor wretch would this smelly toad have come to fetch, if not me, Mr. Potts?" she asked, jerking her head to indicate the squat little man who limped along beside her. "I was sure you had persuaded Mrs. Fitch to reserve those quarters for me alone." Potts heaved an exaggerated sigh of displeasure, making much of her disparagement. "There you go, Shemaine, insulting me friends again." Her escort reached out and viciously pinched her arm for a second time since freeing her from the cable tier. Freddie was every bit as mean as Potts and needed no coaxing to take his spite out on anyone who couldn't fight back. "What's your manners, you highfalutin' tooty?" "I will, Freddie," she gritted, snatching her arm away from his grubby fingers. "The very day the lot of you learn some." Potts's gruff voice resonated through the companionway. "You better get up here and be quick about it, Shemaine, or I'll have to teach you another lesson." The girl scoffed at the ogre's rapidly diminishing leverage. "Captain Fitch may have something to say about your heavy-handed ways if he intends to sell me today." "The captain may have his say, all right," Potts allowed, bestowing a cocky grin upon her as she struggled to make an ascent, hindered by weighty iron anklets and chains. "But everybody knows his missus has the final say on this here voyage." Since being hauled in shackles aboard the bark, Shemaine had become convinced that no other place on earth was more akin to the pits of hell than an English prison ship bound for the colonies. And surely no other person had done as much to advance that belief as Gertrude Turnbull Fitch, wife of its captain and only offspring of J. Horace Turnbull, solitary owner of the London Pride and a small fleet of other merchant ships. With such a formidable reminder as Gertrude Fitch goading her to be wary, Shemaine paused to readjust a makeshift kerchief over her head. During several outings on deck, her fiery red tresses had incensed the dour-faced virago, causing Gertrude to berate the whole Irish race as a crass, slow-witted lot, and to demean Shemaine as a filthy little bog-trotter, a derogatory appellation many an Englishman was wont to lay on the Irish. "Don't you dare dawdle now," Potts taunted. His pig eyes gleamed over-bright, attesting to his penchant for cruelty as he eagerly watched for any infraction that he could pounce on. I'm coming," Shemaine muttered testily, emerging from the passageway. The injustices she had suffered during the 3-month voyage swept through her mind in bitter recall, sparking her resentment anew until she longed to spit a token of her rancour in the huge lummox's face. But experience had been a harsh taskmaster since her arrest in London, brutally convincing her that a cool-headed compliance was the only way a prisoner could ever hope to survive in an English court of law or on one of their hell ships. Averse to revealing any hint of her waning strength, Shemaine managed to drag her encumbered limbs forward with a modicum of dignity. The scourging wind buffeted her, and she braced her bare feet slightly apart to steady herself and straightened her spine with tenacious resolve. The fresh air was a luxury that had become much too rare of late, and she lifted her head to slowly savor the salt-tinged essence of the coastal waters. Potts's eyes narrowed as he noted the girl's stance. It seemed much too proud and undaunted to suit him. "Putting on airs again, are you? Like some high-flown doxy from court?" Sweeping a hand downward to indicate her tattered garments, he brayed in loud amusement. "Beggars caught in Whitefriars, I'd be a-thinking." Shemaine had no difficulty imagining how pathetic she looked in soiled rags and iron fetters. Though her green velvet riding habit had once drawn envious stares from many overly pampered daughters of wealthy aristocrats, those same who had pettishly bemoaned her betrothal to the most handsome and possibly the richest bachelor in all of London, her present plight might have caused those same ladies to laugh in haughty pleasure. Shemaine's forlorn sigh was certainly more heartfelt than feigned. Having known only a life of comfort and ease before her arrest, she had been thrust without cause into a vile prison where the pitifully destitute